you know, if you've got indoor hallways, if you can get to the lowest level, that indoor hallway is probably okay. But if your hallways are outdoors, that would act as a wind tunnel. Absolutely cannot do that. You do not want to be anywhere outdoors during a tornado threat. And that's why I mentioned if you're like, say, a mobile home or top level of like an apartment complex, you want to make a plan ahead tonight. Know like so a shelter that you could maybe go to or some sort of a more stable building that you could make your way into. I also want to go ahead and talk about the wind, which has been rather strong here. Actually, let's go ahead and clear that. I think I may have clicked the wrong thing. Camera. All right, so here's a multi-view of all four of them. You can see the rain coming down pretty good. There's quite the light show going on as well. I-75 pretty quiet in regards to the storms that we are currently seeing, or rather the amount of cars that are on it because of the storms that we are seeing. And of course, Dublin, still very calm. These storms have not gotten to us yet there. But let's go ahead and one more time with this. Come on, tornado warning here. Just brief spin-up variety. Again, there is no confirmation that we've got anything on the ground here. We'll check a few different products to double-check that. We first check our velocity, and the rotation on here, not very strong. Again, normally I would use a storm relative, but it's just not working at this moment in time. Now, in terms of the debris, don't think we got anything here yet. So definitely nothing showing up on our debris detector. That's excellent. So once again, confirming that there is nothing on the ground. If you're in Sparta, definitely want to be thinking about getting into our safe place, just in case this decides that it wants to intensify in terms of that rotation just a little bit more. So that is something that we are going to most certainly keep our eye on. But at this moment in time, with the base velocity, not a whole lot showing up on there as this is continuing. Again, this is far western reaches of Hancock County right now, and it will continue to track off to the east-northeast. It is the strongest winds are, you can see where this line is that runs from essentially Gordon down through Warner Robins, and it's in Perry right now. That's the line of the severe wind that we are seeing with these thunderstorms. So that's 60 plus miles per hour. If it were over 80 miles per hour, this would be a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. And that would actually send your phone into an alert mode very much the same way that a tornado warning did, such as the one that we are seeing here over in Hancock County. So again, the worst part about all this is the fact that it's 4 a.m. and many people are probably sleeping. A Saturday night especially. People went out, did Saturday things today, especially with it being St. Patrick's Day weekend. So that's why I stress so hard, hey, got to be able to get alerts. And luckily this has largely underperformed compared to what we were thinking it was going to do. But unfortunately, if anything touches down, that could still be a very deadly situation. Luckily, there's nothing to suggest that this is on the ground right now. We've just got some rotation that's higher aloft in the atmosphere. And so, hey, it's always better to have that warning out so people can act and be ready versus, oh, well, it might be rotating, but it doesn't look convincing enough. No, always err on the side of caution, and that's most certainly what we are seeing here. So timing this out again one more time. We're going to time this from this rotation spot here. And again, we want to draw to about 55 miles an hour, as that's about how fast this thing is moving. So we're still thinking around 417, 418-ish for Sparta, assuming this were to go that direction. It looks like it's going to stay a little bit to the north of Sparta or to the north of Devereaux. It should stay to the south of Oconee Springs. So this is, again, a rather unpopulated area for the most part that we are seeing this move through. So in terms of that, that's good because it's overnight and it's a tornado warning. And unfortunately, those are always dangerous. But when we're talking about less populated areas, less impact overall, and okay, it might rip up some crops. Not great for the economy, but crops can be regrown, and we're still pretty early in the growing season as well, what with it still being that shift from winter into spring versus, say, if this were a fall tornado and it maybe hit right before the harvest. I feel like that would be a little more even on the devastating side in terms of that. Now, in terms of hail, looks like we've definitely had some of that. With this line, you can see over the last hour that there has been plenty of hail that has come in here as well. That is part of the severe thunderstorm warnings also. So Hail is a bit of a concern. It's not like baseball size or anything, up to an inch or so in diameter. So definitely be painful to get hit by, but it shouldn't cause any major like property damage, etc. This wind is what's driving our severe thunderstorm warning here. All right. So again, that warning in effect until 4:45. The tornado warning is in effect until 4:30. Now I'm going to go ahead and shift gears here and kind of preview what we could see as we continue to move a little bit more forward in time. So you see now the line is firmly here in middle Georgia with us. Actually, I'm going to pick a better zoom. There you go. So we actually got the wind gusts on here as well, as we've been seeing some very, very strong ambient winds ahead of the line, but you can see here that this is going to continue for the next few hours. Now, I think this is being a little bit aggressive on how slow this is moving. That line is absolutely tracking off to the southeast faster than what you are seeing here with this model. So it should not still be here by 9-10 a.m. If I were to take a gut suspicion, we'll probably end up seeing this line clear out of here closer to, say, 7-8 a.m. But it is still something that will be, affecting many of us as we continue through the morning, as it's only about a third of the way through the region at this point in time. Now, I'm checking with the, I've got another way to look at the storm relative velocity here, just to see if anything is looking a little bit suspicious there. And luckily, it's not. It's not really looking any more different, I guess, not the right word I'm looking for, suspicious than what we were seeing here with our base velocity. I really do wish I had the storm relative, but there's not a whole lot popping up on here even with that. So this is very much something that popped up, and I mentioned this, I think, the last time I had to come in on a Sunday morning. When you get these lines of storms like this, these QLCSs, quasi-linear convective system, the NWS is going to typically be a little quicker to pull a trigger on a tornado warning because of the nature of these tornadoes. It's not like it's a long tracking cell where it's going to develop over time and you have high confidence, yeah, all right, we need to throw a warning out here. This could form up and dissipate in the span of 5 to 10 minutes. So in order to act fast on that, you got to throw that warning out very quickly. But at the same time, as soon as it becomes convincing that, hey, we're not seeing any rotation anymore, they could also quickly cancel that. So right now, it is just Sparta that we are concerned about in terms of population centers in regards to this. Again, around 4:18 or so a.m., but you can see that what we are tracking here for rotation is not jumping off the screen very much at all. So this is rotation aloft that we are seeing, most certainly not suggestive of any rotation down at the surface. I can go on over to, let's see, what options do I hear? Let's try the Baron button. Let's see how this one's working. So this will also show rotation here. And it looks like it's not doing a fantastic job of that. You can see it's indicating where the hail is currently coming down, but it's really not picking up on the rotation. You'd see more reds, or especially if it were like a really dangerous scenario, it'd be more of those yellow or orange colors that really shows that intense rotation. So we're getting lucky there that we're not having to deal with too much of that. But again, there is enough on here that the National Weather Service figured that we should go ahead and throw a tornado warning out on this. Now, in terms of the reflectivity, this little bend, it's going to continue to track off to the east, the heavy rain. And by the way, there is still very much a wind threat on the front of this line here, all right? So we're still tracking some pretty good wind gusts ahead of this little bit of rotation that we are seeing in Hancock County that's tracking off to the northeast. And you can see how heavy a lot of this rain is. There's definitely some hail mixed in here as well in regards to this line. So very, very straight for the most part, save for this one little bend. And I've mentioned in the past, when these lines form up, you look for the bends. And where those bends are is where those spin-out tornadoes tend to live. And it will continue to be along that line, whichever direction it may be going throughout the span and duration of the system. So as for right now, it is very weak rotation that we are seeing. In fact, the tornado warning has been expired. So like I said, that's the nature of these systems. You have a warning that will be issued real quick because rotation spun up and then it quickly dissipates. So Stay aware tonight, Middle Georgia. Again, we're still about a third, or excuse me, this thing is about what, halfway almost through the region. Warner Robins, you're getting it right now. Perry, you're getting it right now. Gordon, Milledgeville, Sparta, you're about to in terms of just these storms overall. And go ahead and turn the lightning back on. There is a lot of lightning, folks. We're talking over 600 bolts with just this